He's back. Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. This is your Manchester United versus Sevilla preview. As we know, United are back in European action on Thursday night in the Europa League. Not the European competition we want to be in, but one nonetheless that we're looking to win. Quarter final of the Europa League. Big game, under the lights, Thursday night in Old Trafford. Let's get into the match preview. So as we know, Manchester United come into this game on the back of 2 wins in the Premier League to Brentford and Everton. And we're getting players back at the right time as well. Obviously, we know Christian Eriksen came off the bench on the weekend to make his long-awaited return. And of course, the main man is back after serving a 5-game ban, Casemiro. So, look, as we know, Casemiro did get a 5-game ban. And United have been, I won't say good without him, but I suppose we weathered the storm more than anything else. Out of 5 games that he missed, we racked up 3 wins, a draw and a defeat. But it's great to have him back. Obviously, we know the statistics are there that Manchester United tend to win an awful lot more when Casemiro is in the team than when he's out of it. So it's great to see the likes of himself, Christian Eriksen, these types of players coming back at the business end of the season, you know, rejuvenated, refreshed, ready to go, and you know, let's hope we can kick on with him now in the team and you know, really make a go at having a strong finish to the end of the season. We know we're in 2 cup competitions, and look, we know there's still a race on for top 4 as well. So you need your big name players, your big performers back at the business end of the season, and thankfully United are getting them back at the right time. But the question also remains then, do you put these players directly back into the starting 11 straight away? Obviously, we know Christian Eriksen came on the weekend and got, I think it was maybe 20-25 minutes in the game against Everton and played quite well. But Casemiro, of course, is coming straight back into the squad without any game time since the last Europa League game against Real Betis. And that was on, that was on the 16th of March. So it's nearly a month he's had without a game. Obviously, the international break was there as well. But let me know in the comments, do you think these players should go directly back into the team? Obviously, the 3, I suppose, strongest midfielders we have, and the trio that you would like to see in there would be Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno back playing together. But obviously with 2 out of them 3 players not played in recent weeks, do you put them back into the squad straight away, into the team? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, it's great to see players returning after injury and suspension, but unfortunately we do have a very important player that's potentially going to miss the game on Thursday night. And of course we know it's Marcus Rashford. He hobbled off against Everton with a groin injury, and while Thursday night does seem to be, you know, a no-go for Rashford in relation to playing, there is fears that Manchester United may be missing out on him for a number of weeks. Now, Ten Hag did say in a post-match press conference, he said, I can't say at the moment, obviously I'm not a doctor, we have to wait how bad or how good it is. Obviously he went off and we have to wait for the diagnosis and we will see. Now, reports have also suggested that obviously the game against Sevilla on Thursday night is going to be way too soon for him to come back. It does look like he's going to be missing for a couple of weeks as well with this injury. So you would worry about where the goals are going to come from with Rashford being out. Obviously, look, we did see goals from Scott McTominay and Anthony Martial on the weekend against Everton. And you would hope that Anthony Martial can keep his fitness for a prolonged period of time and maybe lessen the blow of Rashford being out, if he is going to be out for a few weeks. Obviously, we've seen Jadon Sancho with a much improved performance on the weekend as well. So you would be hoping that he can maybe take up that left-hand side from Rashford, keep his good performances going, and hopefully between himself and Martial can chip in with a few goals over the coming weeks if Rashford is to be out. Now, let's talk about the opposition and Sevilla. Now, look, obviously they're having a bit of a mediocre league campaign. They're currently sitting in 13th place in La Liga. But however, look, we do know the type of team that shows up all of the time in the Europa League for Sevilla. They're very well experienced in this competition. They've won it on multiple occasions in the last few years. And I don't think we're going to get an easy game, even though it is going to be in Old Trafford on Thursday night. I do think we're going to have our guard up. We're going to have to be very strong in defence. And we're also going to have to take our chances when they come. Now look, we do know they have a very capable goal scorer in En-Nesyri, and he scored 14 goals this season alone. So it's not going to be completely easy for Manchester United. This Sevilla team loves the Europa League, and we're not going to get anything easy from them. We really do have to be on our game. We've seen with Manchester United over the last few weeks, we've seen the good and the bad. Obviously, the good being, a very dominant display against the likes of Brentford and Everton. But then just a few days before that, we see the other side of Manchester United against Newcastle, where they just don't show up at all. So United really do need to show up. They need to keep the good momentum that we've built up over the last week or so in the two good performances, and hopefully get a good positive result against Sevilla, again being at Old Trafford. Now let's talk about the predicted 11 against Sevilla on Thursday night. So if we start with the back five, this is the back five that I'm going to be going with. David De Gea in goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back, Malacia at left back. Obviously we still don't know Shaw's injury update, whether he'll be back or not. I don't think he will be, so I'm going to go with Malacia. And then, of course, Varane and Martinez at the back. We've seen on the weekend that Varane got a rest against Everton. Harry Maguire came in. He thought he had a decent game, in fairness. Credit where credit is due. But it was great to see the fact that he can come in and have a half-decent game and give Varane the night off. You know what I mean? So Varane is coming into this game with over a week, I think 8 days rest now, which is great to see. So that's going to be my back four there for the game against Sevilla. Now, when it comes to midfield, obviously this is an area that we could go with a variety of different players. We really could. Obviously Scott McTominay has had a couple of good performances. We know that, Ten Hag is not he admires Fred, so he's played him in there a lot. Obviously, Sabitzer has been playing well in the last couple of games as well. Casemiro is coming back. Eriksen is already back. So, all of a sudden, we've got a lot of options in midfield. But this is the midfield that I think, and that I probably would go with, and that I think Ten Hag may go with. And I think Casemiro comes straight back into the team. So, I'm going to go with Casemiro, Sabitzer, and Bruno. Look, Casemiro is quality, and you're playing the quarter final of the Europa League. Okay, it's not the Champions League, but it's a European competition. Casemiro plays, in my opinion. So I think he comes straight back in. I've been impressed with Sabitzer's performances over the last couple of games, and I think the work rate and energy that he can give you box to box is really, really good as well. And of course, Bruno has been playing really well all season. His energy, his work rate, again, he can get forward. He's been playing in a deeper role under Ten Hag the last few games as well. So I think this three in midfield will give us some good balance. And of course, then you have your Scott McTominay, who's been playing well in the last couple of games as well. I still don't think he's good enough to get in ahead of these players. But, Eriksen can come off the bench late in the game then as well, maybe make an impact. So, look, I think this is a good midfield three to have. And the fact that we now have options again in midfield is a great thing in the run into the end of the season. Now, and when it comes to the forward line, obviously, again, with Marcus Rashford looking like he's going to miss the game on Thursday night, again, there are options there. Martial, only 4 or 5 days ago, Ten Hag said that he's not fit enough to start games. Whether that changes, since then to now is going to be interesting to see. And of course, Jadon Sancho has played well the other day against Everton. I thought Anthony played well. I thought Anthony was actually unlucky to get substituted. I thought, in my own personal opinion, I thought he was doing slightly better. But it's good to see that, albeit it was only one game, both wingers did have good games. So let's hope they can carry that in. So, look, to show you my front three, guys, I'm going with Anthony on the right, Sancho on the left, and Martial through the middle. Again, this all depends on whether Martial is fit enough or not. We may see Weghorst come back in. Obviously, he played an awful lot of games in a row, but we haven't seen him feature in the last 2 games under Ten Hag. We're starting to see some more options available in the forward line. Look, I think this is our strongest forward line that we could pick at the moment. Obviously, you have the likes of Pellistri there as well, who's quite young and things like that. But I certainly do think that this forward line, if they can play as well as they played on the weekend, I think there's goals in it. And look, it's always a concern when your top goal scorer is out. And given the fact that Rashford has scored, the majority of our goals this season, I think this forward line can get goals. I really do. Especially with the likes of Casemiro coming back as well. It maybe frees up Bruno to maybe go forward a little bit more, get involved, try and set up a few things. But let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. Would you be happy with this starting 11? What would you change? Would you bring in Casemiro, Eriksen? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I certainly think this is good enough to get a result on Thursday night. Now, if we're talking about a score prediction in the game, like I said, this will all depend on what team Erik ten Hag puts out. I think he'll go strong. We've said it in these previews before. He tends to go strong as much as possible. He doesn't like to massively rotate, and I think the fact that we're getting some key players back, I think we will see some changes maybe, but I don't think there's going to be an awful lot of changes. I think Casemiro comes in, like I said. Rashford gone, but can other players pick up the torch and run with it? Hopefully they can. If I'm going with a score prediction, I think Manchester United should have enough to get the job done against Sevilla. Our home record defensively is really good as well, and we have been scoring goals, like I said, in our previous couple of games, outside of Rashford as well. So let's hope that can continue. Score prediction, guys, I'm going with a 2-0 win to Manchester United. I think we'll have enough to get the job done. Take a 2-0 win then to Spain the following week, and hopefully maybe add to it, or just see it out, and defend your 2-goal lead. But that's my score prediction, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know your score predictions. But look, I think United should get the job done. Looking forward to the game, guys. We'll be doing a watch along for it on Thursday night on both YouTube and on TikTok. So if you're around, make sure you join. Please hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. You're really welcome. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you Thursday night. Take care. Injured, and it's going to be interesting to see how we line up in. I'm just fucking absolutely waffling here. This is bullshit, man.